Hello everyone, a warm welcome to Wisdom from North. My name is Jannecke and today I have Charlie Morley on the show. Charlie is a lucid dreamer and a teacher of lucid dreaming within the context of mindful meditation and Tibetan Buddhism. He travels around the world and gives workshops where he teaches people how to become lucid and why it is so beneficial. He is also the author of Dreams of Awakening that is published by Hay House and that recently came out. Charlie, much welcome to Wisdom from North. How are you doing?
I'm very good, thanks. Thanks for having me. How are you?
I'm very good. And you know, this topic is one of my favorites because, ever since I was a teenager, I've been writing my dream journal. And in my 20s, I started having lucid dreams.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not a topic that you can talk to a lot of people about because they don't know what it is.
Yeah, tell me about it.
Yeah. And so I thought we could start there to just get the basics. Now, what is lucid dreaming?
Yeah. So it's really important to look at the definitions because I think the reason why lucid dreaming is seen as still quite kind of flaky, quite new agey, quite unscientific in the West at least, is because we've been flaky, unscientific and new agey with our definitions. And we needn't be, because we know exactly what a lucid dream is. A lucid dream is a dream in which you know you're dreaming as the dream is happening. So there's a problem in the name actually, because lucid in the English language anyway connotes clarity, clearness, a lucidity of remembrance, when actually that's not what makes it a lucid dream. It's being conscious that makes it a lucid dream. So it's not just a really vivid dream, although they are often really vivid. It is particularly a dream where you go, aha, I'm dreaming, as the dream is happening. So you're not half awake, half asleep. You don't wake up when that happens. You are sound asleep. Most of the brain is asleep, but part of the brain has reactivated and is experiencing self-reflective awareness. So you're basically in a dream and you know you're dreaming.
So what are the benefits of becoming lucid?
Well, once you're lucid, you're conscious in the unconscious. So the kind of elevator pitch for this, I often say, is if you can treat it through hypnotherapy, you can treat it through lucid dreaming. Because in the same way as a hypnotherapist will guide a part of your conscious mind down to the subconscious, in a lucid dream, you become fully conscious within the depths of the unconscious. You can't get more unconscious than asleep. So if you can bring your consciousness there, you're working at a very deep, fertile level of mind in which you can implant suggestions of healing intent, engage, visualize healing practices, and even do your spiritual practice in your sleep.
Yeah, because what I'm wondering about is, I think you said somewhere that 99% is your psychology, that you're in your own psychology.
Mm-hmm.
What I was taught, I remember, was that they said you are going to the astral plane when you sleep.
Mm-hmm.
That is an actual dimension.
Mm-hmm.
Now, is that 1%?
I'd kind of disagree with that from a start. I mean, in a lucid dream, you're in your head. It's the mind flipped inwardly, experiencing its own projection, from my point of view. Now, what you're describing there is astral projection, which is different to lucid dreaming. Perhaps it's the same, perhaps it's like ice and water. You know, the same essential substance and yet totally different textures and experiences. So in a lucid dream, you're in your head. You're experiencing your own projections. Whereas in out-of-body experience, you're taking your sense of self out, experiencing exactly as you say, the astral planes. But this is a topic of quite some controversy. And in fact, when we do the big Gateways of the Mind conference each year, where we have all the top OBE experts and lucid dream experts, always on the last day we have a panel discussion. What's the difference between lucid dream and OBE? And it always gets lots of different opinions. So mine's just one.
I see. Okay, so let's stick to the lucid dreaming.
Mm-hmm.
Now, how can we become lucid? Because it's not an easy thing to do. For some people, it seemed like it is. For me, I had to practice every day for 5 weeks, 3 times a day. And then my friend, I just told her about it, and she had, lucid dreams the same night and the day after.
So there you go.
Yeah.
So we see from a start people are working from different levels. But lucid dreaming within Tibetan Buddhism is seen as a form of mind training. Now, mind training tells us 2 things. One, you can learn to do it. It's not something for special people, it's something for everybody. It's just a matter of training. And the second thing we learn from the word training is that we get better at it the more we do it. So some people are naturally good runners, perhaps. They can run very easily without getting out of breath. Other people need to train their fitness to be good at running. But we can all run. You know, everyone can run a marathon, depending on, well, lots of people can run marathons, depending on how hard we train. It's exactly the same with lucid dreaming. And in fact, I mean, lucid dreaming is no harder to learn than any other meditation technique. If you learned mindfulness meditation, for example, within 5 weeks, you're doing pretty well. Oh. So if you learned lucid dreaming within 5 weeks, you're doing well too. You know, this isn't an easy thing, yet in the West, we're so used to this kind of quick fix, kind of self-help guru thing, like, oh, fake it till you make it, and you can manifest a car tomorrow. It's like, it's real life. You know, it's your mind. It takes a bit longer to attune, to train, I think.
Yeah, because you have to question your reality all the time, right? Because in dreams, we just accept anything that comes along. And in order to wake up, you have to have these triggers. Can you talk a little bit about how we can induce this lucid dreaming?
Yeah, so I just remembered a bit of your first question I didn't answer. You were talking about the how to bring on lucidity. You've been keeping a dream diary, so that's the first thing. Keeping a dream diary and recalling your dreams. Because unless you regularly recall your dreams, you could be having lucid dreams every night, but you wouldn't know it. Maybe. Far more to the point is probably you won't be able to get to that stage of full lucidity unless you have some sort of relationship with your dreams. So getting to know the territory of your dreams is the first thing. Get to know the territory. Do you often dream you're on a beach? Do you often dream you're on the planet Mars? Do you often dream you're back at school? Get to know the territory. So eventually you'll know that territory when you're in it. As far as the awareness testing, a good way to sum it up is, you know, if you pack boxes all day, you're packing boxes all day. At night, you may well dream about packing boxes. So what we want to do is throughout the day, be questioning, could this be a dream right now? Now, of course, you know, I'm not psychotic. I know, or at least I hope I know. Let's check. Yes, that it's not a dream. Eventually, I will dream about doing those checks. So throughout the day, we ask a dream. And then at night, we may dream about asking, could this be a dream? But of course, in the dream, we'll go, oh yeah, I'm on the planet Mars or whatever my crazy dream is, and we can become lucid. So it's about training our awareness, about flexing the muscle of our mindfulness in the day so that that muscle is strong enough to support the weight of the lucid dream at night.
So if you then discover all of a sudden, oh my goodness, I am dreaming, what can you do? Like, I mean, I assume that people can get a bit frightened because, wow, I'm dreaming, what to do? And then they get so excited and it gets kind of chaotic.
Yeah, totally. I mean, most people's first few lucid dreams go something like this. They're dreaming away, I'm the Queen of Egypt or whatever crazy dream I'm having, and suddenly, hang on, I'm not really the Queen of Egypt. I must be dreaming. I'm dreaming. Oh my God, this is so good. Boom. And we wake up in our beds, our heart's pounding. We think, how do I get back there? So for a lot of us, yeah, our first few lucid dreams may last 10, 20, 30 seconds. But it's just like tightrope walking. You know, if we had a tightrope in your office behind you and I asked you to walk on the tightrope, maybe the first time you tried it, you'd get one step before you fell off. But if I lent you that tightrope to use for a year, then I bet you'd be able to walk to one end and back, no problem. It's just about practice and about keeping our balance. Whereas tightrope walking is physical balance, lucid dreaming is mental balance. Keeping our mental balance, keeping in check. And if you can have lucid dreams for up to an hour in length.
Wow. Up to an hour? Just an hour? Is that like that's very specific?
you work in 90-minute dream periods. Oh. So once you've had the kind of 6, 7, 8 hours sleep, you'll be moving into very extended dream periods of up to an hour or more in length. Now, we know that lucid dreams happen in real time because they've done tests where they put people into brain scanners, and when they're lucid, they get them to flick their eyes like a form of optical Morse code saying, 2 to the left, 1 to the right, which means I'm in here, I'm having a lucid dream. And then they get them to estimate 5 minutes in time. And they flick their eyes again saying, I think 5 minutes is up. And they've seen that your estimation of time in lucid dream is pretty much what it is in the waking state. So, I mean, time is an illusion in this state. In the lucid dream, it's even more of an illusion. But our experience of that illusion seems to be similar. Okay. So imagine if you could spend an hour of real time walking around your own psyche. In the lucid dream, everything is you. That bookshelf behind you would be made of your mind. The clothes you're wearing are made of your mind. Every person in the lucid dream is a projection of your own psychology. Think of the work we can do when you're walking around your own psyche. I mean, this is inherently psychedelic, which is why some people do get a bit freaked out when they have their first lucid dream, because it's so awesome. You realize that everything around you is made from mind. And once we can get over that kind of shock and awe, we realize there's deep work that can be done there, deep healing work and deep spiritual work as well.
And a lot of people are talking about the shadow aspects these days and how important it is to get the shadow out in the light so we can see it and let go of it. And that's my impression, that these shadows a lot of the times are showing themselves very quickly in these lucid experiences. So it can be frightening.
So this freaks some people out. I mean, imagine every night when you go to sleep, your unconscious mind is writing you a letter in the form of a dream. Most of us are having about 4 or 5 dream periods every night. So that means 4 or 5 letters every single night. Now, most of us don't know we're being written to. People say, oh, I don't dream. If you start keeping a dream diary, that's like, reading your letters. But imagine if one day, when your unconscious is writing you a letter, you walk into the office while it's writing to you. And it says, whoa, I was just writing to you. Wow, let's have a conversation face to face. Now imagine that conversation. Your unconscious isn't going to engage small talk. It won't be like, oh, hey, dude. Yeah, how's it going? Yeah, I'm all right. No, it's going to be, oh, wow, I'm so glad to see you. I've been trying to communicate to you for a whole lifetime, and now you're finally here. Okay, we need to talk about the big issues. Father issues, sexuality issues, spiritual issues, shadow issues. It's going to bring in the big stuff. So yeah, when you had your first lucid dreams, don't expect it to be all rainbows and fluffy bunnies, because it can actually be quite powerful, dark experiences. But this is such a good sign, because what it means is the unconscious is ready to confront you with your darkness, so you can shine light into it and unlock the power that resides within it. So it can be very good, but also a little bit scary.
So how do you do that? Okay, let's say you meet a troll, I've done that in my lucid dream. It's so scary. So am I supposed to embrace it then?
Yeah, so this is what I talk about in my TED talk, about kind of literally embracing the demon. Now, you don't have to. I mean, in a lucid dream, let's say a scary troll appears, which is very fitting actually for a Norwegian, isn't it, I guess? So this troll appears, which it may well be for you because of your cultural mythology of the place you've grown up and stuff. So you see this troll. Now, the first thing you can do is just acknowledge that it's part of your mind. So when the fear comes up, oh my God, a troll in my lucid dream, just remind yourself, I am in my own mind. That troll is not from outside. It's not from another galaxy. It's not any of that dualistic nonsense. This is a non-dual state of mind, and that troll is you. So just to have that acknowledgement that the troll is made of your mind will, for many people, first of all, dissolve the fear, and secondly, allow your experience of the troll to open up. So in that case, as the great Krishnamurti said, the seeing is the doing. What I would say is you can take it one step further, and this would be the kind of Vajrayana approach, the Tibetan Buddhist approach, would be to intentionally move towards the troll and either engage it in conversation, asking something. Some people like to say, what do you represent? I'd say go one step further and say, how can I help you? Because if that troll is a representation of something that scares you, perhaps there's some way you can help it. And then the final step would be to actually embrace it. So go up to the troll and hug it. Because the dream's working in symbols, and there's no greater symbol of acceptance than the hug. And the dream knows that. So if you go and hug the troll, you're showing the unconscious mind, I'm embracing what used to scare me into the wholeness of myself. You have just unlocked a fear. Now, fear uses up a lot of our energy. A lot of us could have so much more chi energy if we could let go of our fears. So once you've embraced that troll, you may find the next day a huge amount of creative energy that you've unlocked. And that's really the importance of shadow integration.
Yeah, but that's the thing. We can so benefit from these lucid dreams and even get answers. And you have such a great story about that, because you were a musician and you've been a lucid dreamer since you were 16 years old. And you started, contemplating on maybe I should become a teacher. And you weren't sure. And then you asked a question. Can you tell that story?
Yeah, so that's the dream that I talk about in the book. Yeah. So I'd been teaching for a couple of years. But it wasn't a living yet. It wasn't my career. I was still making my career in the hip-hop music world, actually. I was a rapper in a hip-hop group, of all things. So we would tour around with break dancers and stuff like that. So it was a very strange time in my life. And I started getting these anxiety dreams because I was feeling, oh, am I qualified to do this? I mean, I know my teachers told me I should teach, but am I really qualified? Am I the real deal kind of thing? So in one of these anxiety dreams, I decided to ask the dream. Now, in a lucid dream, you can ask big questions. If you're going to ask a big question, I would say, don't ask the dream characters because they'll give you an answer based on who they are. So let's say I ask a dream character who is an elderly African woman. Her answer will be based on the filters of my own interaction with femininity, elderliness, and Africanness. Do you know what I mean? Because she's part of me. She's my inner African woman. So if you have a big question, ask the sky, ask the actual dream, the kind of space. And then you'll get an answer from your deeper self, your kind of higher self, rather than the characters. So anyway, I call out, what should I do with my life? Should I do Throwdown, which is the hip-hop crew I was in, or should I be a lucid dreaming teacher? And then as soon as I say it, the dream transforms, and I'm in a cocktail party. And I thought, what cocktail party? Am I supposed to be a waiter or something? What is this? And then I realized everyone at the cocktail party had the answer to my question. So I went up to the people in the cocktail party and I said, hey, what should I do with my life? And one of them said, oh yeah, you should be a lucid dreaming teacher. This is how you can really help people. And I asked another character who looked like me when I was 17, with a long ponytail and these big muscles, and he was drinking loads of alcohol. And I thought, oh wow, he's my kind of inner rebel. So I said, hey man, what should I do with my life? And he went, yeah man, do Throwdown rocks. And I thought, okay, so there's a balanced opinion there between my kind of spiritual side and the side that still wants to be in the music industry. Then I asked a couple more people and they said I should be a lucid dreaming teacher. So I woke up and, you know, we can't just accept everything in the lucid dream. I didn't just then drop my job, but I woke up with a feeling of acceptance and a feeling that even if my egoic sense of self didn't feel qualified, didn't feel ready, felt full of self-doubt, there were elements in my unconscious, archetypes of my mind that have faith, have trust in yourself, and you go for it. So then over the period of the next 6 months, I did eventually wrap up the hip-hop company and became full-time doing the dream stuff. And it was the best decision I ever made. Because then I got the book deal, and then I got with Hay House, and then this happened, and that happened. And now it's just literally living the dream. You know, I'm so lucky and feel so grateful to all the people who've let me share this stuff, or who bought the book, or who've come to retreats and heard me talk this stuff. You know, I've been obsessed with this since I was 16. Yeah. And I think that I now get to travel the world talking about what I'm obsessed with. And people think that's cool, and they like it, and they gain benefit from it. I mean, God, what a dream. You know, I'm really grateful.
Yeah, I gotta say I'm grateful that you exist too and that you made that choice, because I haven't met anybody, you know, in London teaching lucid dreaming on my age. You know, it's not a common thing to do. But at the same time, it's important because we dream every night, and it's such an opportunity to look into our psyche. But the other thing
absolutely.
About this is it's so real. I mean, when you hurt yourself there, it actually hurts.
Yeah.
Why
crazy. You can feel pain in lucid dreams.
Yeah.
I mean, this is, you know, the pain thing is a really good exploration to do. And this is one of the dreams, I'm not sure whether they put it in the book or not, but I intentionally explored pain in the lucid dream. So I was intentionally engaging painful things in the lucid dream, like burning and stuff like that, to examine the illusion of pain. Because when you get burnt in a lucid dream, you feel the burn. You might even have the smell of burning flesh. You'll be screaming, ah! You know, it's full-on pain, and yet you know this is an illusion. There is no arm. There is no fire burning the arm, and yet the pain is being created nonetheless. Now, once you've had that kind of experience, the next time you engage pain in the waking state, it's never the same again. Now, I'm not saying since that dream I'm now, you know, completely painless.
Really?
But when I do feel... No, I'm not at all.
No,
but what I can say is the next time I have felt pain, it's really opened up a different perspective, because you can never unknow what you learn in the lucid dream. So I will always remember what it feels like to experience pain, which is created by the illusory mind. So in the waking state, the next time you feel pain, you can use that memory to open up the potential of looking at pain as something to explore rather than to avoid. And that's quite a revolutionary thought, actually.
Yeah. does that mean that actually, I mean, everything here is an illusion and that we're just perceiving pain through our psychology in a way?
Well, it seems like there's a great Buddhist quote on this from a guy called Taisatupa Rinpoche. He's one of the high lamas of this lineage. And he says, 10% is pain, 90% is aversion to pain. That is what makes suffering. So when we suffer, maybe 10% is actually the pain that's causing us to suffer, but 90% is the aversion to pain, which is causing the suffering. You know, if I tell you I'm going to take you for 2 hours and place burning needles under your skin, you would say that's torture. I would say I'm having a new tattoo done. So we can see already that our perspective of pain changes based on how we look at it. So one is torture, one is getting a tattoo, and yet it's the same action being occurred. So we can see that the mind definitely plays some role in our experience of pain. I think if we truly accepted it was all an illusion, then we wouldn't feel any pain and would probably be enlightened. And I'm most definitely not that.
Right, because our goal here is to awaken, right? I mean, it's not just to awaken in the lucid dream, it's to awaken here in the physical world as well.
And this is what we can use lucid dreaming to prepare for. You know, within Tibetan Buddhism, it's seen that every time you have a lucid dream, you're getting a teeny taste of awakening from this dream. Because in the lucid dream, once you become lucid, you go, aha, what I thought was outside of me, what I thought was separate from me, what I thought was dualistically existing from me, is in fact non-dualistic, is in fact non-separate, and is in fact inside of me. So once we become lucid, we can open up to an experience of interconnectivity, approaching an oceanic experience of oneness, which can help give us a taste of those same experiences in the waking state.
Wow, that's huge.
It's far out, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, the lucid dream has so much potential. I just want to talk about a few more things that we can do when we're lucid, because I've experienced that I become lucid and I'm like, oh, what to do? I don't know what to do. And then
what do I do now?
Yeah. And you mentioned one thing, that you can actually ask to meet your inner child, which I thought was a very nice thing. Why would we want to do that?
Well, once we become lucid, we realize that the archetypes, which we've been told, archetypes, for those who don't know, we could call these archetypes universally existing representations of our own psychology. So, for example, the wise man, the lovers, the holy fool, the shadow, the hero. These are all archetypes, symbolic representations of psychological traits which we find within every human mind, and perhaps even the minds of animals, who knows. Now, in the waking state, these are quite conceptual. You know, you can kind of tune in to your hero aspect, or you can kind of tune into your wise man aspect, or tune into your divine feminine aspect. Whereas in a lucid dream, because the lucid dream is made of your psychology, these archetypes turn up not in concepts, but in personified form. This is a unique trait of lucid dreaming, that you can meet your internal archetypes in personified form. So you can meet your shadow. You can have a conversation with your inner child. You can meet your higher self. You can, as I've done, call out to have a conversation with your subconscious. And I met a female personification of my subconscious mind who had a clipboard. I still don't know what was on the clipboard, but it seemed to be detailing all of the contents of my unconscious. You know, this is far out. I mean, to be able to converse with your inner child, to be able to ask your shadow how you can integrate it, these are things that could take months and months and months of therapy in the waking state, and yet you gain access to these in the lucid dream. Now, this doesn't mean that lucid dreaming is any way better than hypnotherapy, Jungian analytic therapy. Not better, just a different modality, one which is slightly more direct and inherently self-empowering because you do it yourself.
So it might be good to have a plan, maybe an intention before you go to sleep. Okay, if I get a lucid dream tonight, I will work on this, on, you know, these questions or these sides of myself, maybe.
Absolutely. Once you get onto the tightrope of lucidity, quite a lot can be just about trying to maintain your balance. Oh, you know, it's a bit wobbly on this tightrope. So far better you work out what you want to do on that tightrope in the waking state than try and work it out when you're in the dream. Because otherwise, a lot of people, their first lucid dreams, they're like, I'm lucid. Okay, what do I do? I don't know, fly, have sex with a movie star, I don't know, walk around. And they wake up and think, why didn't I do something more? There's nothing wrong with flying about and have sex with movie stars if you want, but there are a heck of a lot more beneficial things we can do. So absolutely, before you go to sleep, you can think to yourself, if I get lucid tonight, this is what I want to do. I want to engage my spiritual practice in the dream state. I want to engage a state of physical healing. I want to explore past trauma from my childhood. I want to meet my nightmares. I want to work on my phobias. You can choose what to do. And by making that choice, you might find that once you're lucid, that dream is already there for you, as if the unconscious has kind of prepared it, waiting for you to come in. It's very strange.
Mm. So you're talking about the unconscious and the subconscious, but also the higher self. The higher self, I don't see how the higher self get into the picture if you're only in your mind in a way.
Well, the higher self is an archetype within. I mean, Jung never used the term higher self, actually. He used self with a big S. Nowadays, people often use the term higher self to delineate between self with a little s and self with a big S.
Right.
But to Jung, the self, or what we can refer to as the higher self if you would like to, was the representation of wholeness aspect. The self was the integrated human mind. It was the awakened, the realized. It was the sum total of the archetypes being fully integrated. Now that definitely exists within the dream state. It is the archetype that we want to try and communicate with in the lucid dream. And it seems to me it might actually be the intelligence beyond the dream. It seems that in the lucid dream there's some sort of inherent intelligence which is kind of looking out for us. Like, for example, I've gone into the lucid dream and asked to do stuff which seemed to be out of my capacity. Mm-hmm. Like, for one, I went in and I asked to visit Dewa Chen, which is, how do I describe Dewa Chen? It's kind of like a Buddhist heavenly realm, like on a kind of an astral plane of kind of a heavenly realm that exists. So I went into the lucid dream and I went, Dewa Chen now, I want to go to Dewa Chen. And nothing happened. And I called again. And then this woman appeared again with a clipboard. And she went, you want to go to Dewa Chen? Not yet.
Really?
And I was like, what? There's part of my mind which is looking out for me, which has decided, you know what, Charlotte, you're not quite ready for that. I think it's going to blow your mind a bit too much. So come back in 5 or 10 years. So there seems to be an inherent intelligence within the lucid dream state. And perhaps that is the higher self or the self with a big S in work, looking out for us. The psyche is striving for integration. It's striving for balance. So in the lucid dream state, if you try and do something that's too out of balance, you might get kicked out of the dream. This is why, we don't have to worry too much in the lucid dream. The dream doesn't want oblivion. The shadow will only give us what we're ready for. But a lot of people don't know how ready for change they are.
It's so amazing how intelligent everything is, that we're only tapping into so little in our, I don't know how to say it, unconscious states that we're in now.
Yeah, I mean, if you think of the classic kind of iceberg theory of the mind that Freud popularized, where the top 10% is conscious and the vast majority is beneath the surface, the unconscious mind. In a lucid dream, you're tapping into that 90% of who you really are. And most people are going through their lives believing they're only 10% of who they are. If you ask someone who they are, they say, I'm my stories, I'm my memories, I'm my dramas, I'm my personality. These are all conscious. But what about the unconscious? There's a wellspring of wisdom that goes way beyond this single life we're in now, back into past lives, being able to tap into the wisdom of the ages. But we can't access that very readily in the waking state unless we do a lot of meditation or breath work or these other things that can contact it. So in the lucid dream, it's quite a rare experience that we get to go inwardly and to see that 90% of potential that we really are.
So I'm wondering, how you're doing a lot of workshops around the world. How are people reacting to it? Are they managing to do it quite quickly, or do you see like a change in people from before? Is it more talk about this now? And what's happening in the world when it comes to lucid dreaming?
I'm yet to meet somebody who can't lucid dream yet. In 5 years of teaching all around, I'm yet to find somebody who can't do it. Some people will do it on the first night of just hearing a conversation about lucid dreaming, like your friend. Other people, like yourself, may take 4 or 5 weeks. This is quite normal. Other people may take some months. Other people, it may take years. But it depends how much energy we're willing to put into the practice. You find that people who are willing to put in the energy and do the practice get lucid within, weeks, not months. Other people who it's just kind of a sideline practice, it may be more like months. But it's no reflection on our personality. Don't think like, oh, it took me ages to have a lucid dream, so this means I've got a bad mind or something. It may just be that there's certain preparations that the unconscious needs to make before it's ready to let you in. There's no way you can force a lucid dream. Every lucid dream you've had is because the unconscious has opened the door and said, please, come in, have a look around. So sometimes people can be doing all the techniques, but not quite having the lucid dreams. And there's nothing wrong with the techniques. There's nothing wrong with them. It's simply that the time isn't right yet. But if they keep on going and if they engage a beneficial motivation, the lucid dreams will come. As far as if people are talking about lucid dreaming more, absolutely. I mean, the last few years I've seen a massive rise in interest in lucid dreaming, especially like when my book came out, I was getting stuff in The Guardian, well, this won't mean anything, but major kind of broadsheet newspapers in the UK were looking at this stuff. And of course, it wasn't just my book, it was the fact they were interested in the subject as a whole, and my book would probably just happen to be there. So there's definitely a time at the moment, the last 2-3 years, where people are starting to wake up to lucid dreaming. This is partly as well because of the new scientific research we have coming out of Heidelberg University in Germany, coming out of the Harvard team as well in the US. People are now studying lucid dreamers again, putting them in the brain scanners and seeing what happens. So of course with new science comes new faith, because a lot of people, their religion is science. And until that religion says this is for real, people don't believe it. Now, lucid dreaming has been for real in scientific circles since the early 1970s. But recently, in the last 4 or 5 years, there's been a resurgence because they've started putting people into fMRI scanners, which are the magnetic resonance imaging scanners. So you can actually see lucid dreaming happening live. And that's quite an exciting thing for the scientists.
Wow. So I just want to speak a little bit about maybe the sacredness, because I saw a video that you were doing where you got, I think, 3 things. Someone in the lucid dream taught you 3 things that were important to know, and one of them was to be grateful or say thank you, because in this world, I mean, you can do a lot of things. You can do sexual activities and go into the lower vibrations, and you can also do spiritual practices. So can you talk a little bit about that that sacredness that we can bring into it in a way to maybe get a better quality of our lucid dreams?
Yeah. So within Tibetan Buddhism, one of the core aims of lucid dreaming is to, is to be able to do your spiritual practice in your sleep. So once you become lucid, rather than flying off and meeting movie stars, you actually do your meditation in the dream state. So you start reciting your mantras, you start doing your mindfulness meditation, you even start doing your physical yoga postures, if yoga is your spiritual practice. But whatever it is, you do it in the dream. And it's said to do your spiritual practice in the dream is very, very powerful. Because in the lucid dream state, you're closer to your enlightened nature than you are in the waking state. And that's quite a crazy concept already. But because this is the case, if you engage spiritual practice in the lucid dream, you can reach even greater heights than you could while awake. Because in the awake state, we're limited by this gross corporeal body. Things are very solid, things seem very kind of dualistic. Whereas in the dream, things are much more flexible. So it's said in the dream yoga texts, 1 moment of meditation in a lucid dream is worth a 1-week meditation retreat in the waking state. I mean, how they come up with this, I have no idea. But the point is they're saying it's a big deal to meditate in your lucid dream. And if you do meditate in your lucid dream, you will know about it. I mean, the first few times I did it, it felt like my head was being put in a microwave. Like as soon, just the first breath. And the whole dream was like, boom, just became pure vibration. The dream turned into energy. And I realized, wow, maybe that's what's happening when we meditate in the waking state. Had we the eyes to see it? Right. Perhaps when we've woken up in this state and we meditate, like these awakened beings have, maybe they have a similar experience. And this is why they're trying to communicate to us how meditation is. Yeah. But we're sitting there thinking, oh, I get bored after 2 minutes, oh, my legs hurt, all this kind of stuff. So who knows? But of course, in the lucid dream state, it's easier because your legs don't hurt. I can sit in perfect full lotus meditation posture in the lucid dream, whereas in this state, my knees start to hurt.
I know this is a huge topic. So how can people learn more about this? You have workshops and then you have a book?
Yes, so I have the book out, Dreams of Awakening. I don't have a copy here, but oh yes, I do. Whoop. Dreams of Awakening, which is available on Amazon and bookshops and all that kind of stuff. You can check out my website, charliemorley.com, which has got all the workshops coming up. I'm in Sweden soon, actually. I can't remember the exact date. Let me just check.
Yeah, because I was going to ask you if you're coming to Norway one day.
Yeah, so not Norway, but close.
It's
so maybe
close.
Some people want to make the trip to Sweden. I don't want to look at the date. I don't think that would make very good webcam action, would it? But go onto my website, and everything's there under the events page or the world tour page. But also, you don't need to learn it from me. Learn it from yourself. Go into your dreams. Teach yourself. Now, the cool thing about lucid dreaming is it's totally self-empowering. You don't need someone like me. You don't need my book necessarily. Go online, learn some techniques, start looking at your own dreams, start teaching yourself to do it. But if you are interested, then I'm doing a lot of traveling this year, so it'd be cool to see any of your viewers at a workshop soon.
Yeah, I would love to come myself. Thank you so much, Charlie, and
Thank
good luck with your important work. And for my viewers, I really recommend going into this world. It's infinite possibilities. So thank you so much for watching, and much light from Oslo and London. Bye bye.